Good afternoon. How are we all doing? Hang on a minute. Is my microphone working? It is. Hello. Hang on a minute. I'm really organised. I'm just going to be like this all week. Let me just mute myself, open the chat. Sorry, forgot to pop out the chat, so I can't talk to anyone. There we go. Done. How are we all doing? Afternoon, Danny, Fletch, Robert, Sebastian, George. How are we doing? We're back. It's an afternoon session. I'm in my new room, which is very white, very echoey. But apparently from the guys this morning, they said the sound was actually quite good. So that's good. My microphone didn't work this morning. So I'm on some new microphone setting that I don't know how it works. But anyway, it's working. There we go. Sorry I'm late. Right, so markets opened. We've got very big whipsaws on all at the moment. So we'll see where we go. This morning, the DAX, there was no trade. The range this morning was absolutely useless. So that was this morning's range. It was just too small, literally just by a whisker. So if it had have gone like ever so slightly wider range on that, we would have triggered a short trade, stopped out and then gone long. So it would have been a very nice profitable morning, but wasn't quite the right range. I did, however, get a trade short on the FTSE, which stopped out and then it flipped long after about an hour or so, and came straight off the weekly high and pulled back to my trailing stop. So just break-even morning, basically. You can see we pushed up into the last week's high, which was Thursday's high. So, yeah, nice reaction off of Thursday's high, and we just pulled back inside range now. So no profit this morning, but no loss. So we'll see where we go. Right, so ranges are in. So 5-minute ORB is going to go in on the Dow. NASDAQ range is good. S&P range too small. Only just though. So going to take a trade on the 5-minute ORB on both of those indices. There's no news today. So we went through the news this morning. Afternoon, David. Afternoon, Virginia. I think I said that already. There's no news today. So it's a completely dead news day today. But we've got 2 interest rate decisions for the Aussie and the New Zealand tomorrow and Wednesday morning. We've got FOMC on Wednesday, which doesn't do anything because it's not actual interest rate. It will just be information, which typically doesn't give us any guidance that's different to what the Fed have already said. What was that? Don't know if you heard that. There's some weird horn. Unemployment claims come out on Thursday. So that's the main US news this week. And then we've got CAD unemployment on Friday along with the pound GDP. So it's a really tight news week this week. There's not a lot of it, but what we have got is high impact. So we'll see what happens with those. We'll have a look at the FX pairs in a bit as well. We've had quite a lot of movement today. It's not really gone anywhere, but we've had a lot of ADRs. So let's just quickly see if we're going to break on these 5-minute ranges, and then we're going to have a look at the FX side of things. Nothing from Trump today that's impactive. So Trump was meant to be saying something else today, I believe, about tariffs, but doesn't seem that anything's been said yet. So it is only 9:30 in the morning, obviously, so there's plenty of time for that to happen. But there's nothing really gone on this morning that has sort of led to any movement or impact anywhere. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Keep our eyes peeled on the news this morning. So 10-minute range candle is inside bar on all indices. So we've had that initial whipsaw, but now no directional bias. So we'll wait for the next 5 minutes. Got 2 minutes left on this candle, but it looks like it's all going to be inside bar. So, which is fine. If the market wants to sit around, I'll wait. We'll just take the break when it happens. No point in forcing it. It's quite a big range though this morning that's gone in there. These are, sort of 25-30% of opening range of ADR. So quite a lot of movement went there in both directions, but no directional bias as yet. So just quickly looking at these indices before we have a look at the FX side of things. As you can see, we are on the Dow. We're out basically approaching the all-time highs. Morning, Meh. So afternoon, elevated. This is your all-time high, which we've reacted at multiple times. We are approaching that area again. So on the Dow Jones, your upside, as you can see, we're within an ADR today. Yeah, so this orange line is the all-time high. It's pretty much exactly ADR. So there's a very good probability of us hitting that today. We'll either get a big reaction off of it as we have in the past, or we're going to blow through it. If you look at the other indices, the S&P500, we've gone outside of that all-time high already in the last, so it's 2 weeks ago we broke it, then we had a continuation last week. And the NASDAQ, also the same thing. As you can see, the NASDAQ and the S&P looking virtually the same at the minute. So we are already at all-time highs there as well. So that Dow today, if that Dow Jones manages to get that level, I get the feeling we're going to break out and have a big day today. So we'll wait and see what happens as to which way the market decides to go. At the moment, obviously, it's just whipsawed and it hasn't actually got a direction. So we'll see where we go, but there's plenty of upside on the Dow Jones at least today. So we'll see. We were waiting for Trump. I was hoping he would have said something by the time the market opens today, because we wanted to see if he was going to announce anything more to do with tariffs. So tariffs obviously are going to be negative for the stock indices if he does announce more tariffs. There is a understanding that that is what he's going to do, but no real confirmation as to what exactly or who with. The Europeans, we know, are going to be getting some more tariffs because he's unhappy with what they're doing. They couldn't come to a consensus on anything. So it seems that we're probably going to get some more tariffs in. So I would say we're probably looking at maybe getting a bit of a bearish week if that comes to fruition, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. So I was kind of hoping he was going to do it before the open, so the market had an obvious direction, but not so far. So there you go. Your 10-minute candle is inside bar. So we're not going anywhere at the moment. This is the 15-minute ORB. So the 5-minute ORB and the 15-minute ORB at the moment are looking like they're going to be pretty much the same. We've got 4 minutes to go on that yet. Don't know why I'm circling that. The clock's down there. But yeah, there's a good chance we might just see a little bit of a choppy range until we get some confirmation from Trump. But we'll wait and see. Afternoon, James. What are your thoughts on prop? Do you have a strategy for it? Nope. Afternoon, FTNet. Yeah, prop is basically the same as everything else, but with restrictions. So if you can afford to trade your own capital, trade your own capital, because you can do what you like with your own capital. If you're trading prop, you can't do anything you want to. So you're very restrictive as to what you can do. But yeah, prop's good if you can stay within the constraints that they set. The whole thing, I've been through it many times, but the whole thing is geared up to make you lose. And even when you win, they will find a way to make you lose. So yeah, but ORB as a strategy works very well on prop. There's loads of people using the opening range breakout EA on prop and doing very well with it on FTMO, on Fivers. There was another one that someone said they had just passed with True Forex funds or something. I don't know. But yeah, the ORB strategy works well on prop. It's like everything. You basically press a button with a binary outcome. You wrap risk around it. If the binary outcome is in your favor, you win. If not, you lose. There's no strategy that works all the time. So you just need to manage risk, which is all the opening range breakout strategy does. Is it, we've got a trade that's going on. It will break, it will work, or it won't work. But this is how prop works. Prop knows that there is not a strategy out there that you can trade that will not have a losing run based on market movement. So market condition and regime changes on a regular basis. When you are trading a breakout strategy and the market regime is sideways, your strategy will fail. If you're trading a trend-based strategy and the market goes sideways, your strategy will fail. If you're trading a mean reversion strategy and the market goes parabolic into a breakout, your strategy will fail. So whatever strategy you are trading, at some point, the market regime will not fit that strategy and your P&L will drop. When your P&L drops, you blow your account. When you blow your account, you pay them for another one, and that's the cycle you go in. 99.5% of traders spend their time doing that. 0.5% of traders get a payout. 0.2% of traders will get a payout more than once. Everyone else will blow their accounts because the strategies do not work that way. This isn't how trading works. I have never had a year where I have not had losing weeks and losing months. Doesn't happen. They know that. So what they do is they set a constraint within that, in the parameters of 90% of strategies, to make sure that when the losing run happens, it blows the account. So if you've got your own capital, you just sit through the losing run and you carry on making money. If you've got a prop account, you have to start again. The trouble with starting again is it acts on your psyche. They know that. So what you do is you get more aggressive, which makes you blow your accounts faster, which makes you crosser, which makes you blow your accounts faster, and you go into that never-ending spiral. So automation is really the best way to make money on prop because you are not involved in it. You are sitting there and you are just watching the strategy edge play out. If you start making your own decisions, you'll annoy yourself. But that's my experience. That's most people's experience. So. Afternoon, Hamza. How are we doing? Or morning to you, even. Right, so 15-minute range, just about to go in. And we are inside bar. So no trades so far today. So we'll come back to that in a bit and see if we manage to get a breakout. But so far, the market is dead. Right, so... and again, that's a prime example of prop. We'll be killing it today because traders will be sitting there going, oh, it's a long, stop out. Oh, it's a short, stop out. Oh, it's a long, stop out. Oh, it's a short, stop out. I'm really cross. I've blown 4% of my account. Screw it, I'll go for it. And they'll press that one button and that'll blow it. And that's it, done. Because the market is not ripe for trading, so don't trade it. But you can't make money if you don't trade, so you have to trade it. Therefore, you blow your account. Whereas normal people will sit here and go, it's not good. We'll just sit here and we'll wait for it to be good. Wait for the market to come to you. Don't go to the market. Afternoon, Ismet. I love picking your brain on this stuff. Oh, my poor brain. Right. So S&P, as you can see, we have a gap up and a gap down scenario. So it is an absolute 50-50 today. Where we go on that. Right. FX-wise, there's a lot of RSI extensions, which I'm going to go through. I went through all pairs this morning, so I'm just going to concentrate on the RSIs and ADRs this afternoon. You've got a lot of ADR hits today, mainly excluding the Aussie New Zealand because that's a gap down scenario with broker candle. That's spread. It's not really an ADR, although probably that is an ADR now. So there's your reversal off of the weekly high going in. But all of these Aussie pairs basically today have had ADR reversals already, which are underway, as you can see, because we've got the Australian dollar reducing interest rates tomorrow. So that is going to be negative for the Aussies. So we've had downward movement on all Aussie pairs. It is pulling back off of ADRs, a beautiful ADR hit there. Look, straight off of ADR, back up into propulsion. So yeah, there's lots of ADR hits on the Australian pairs. The New Zealand pairs as well have had a fairly decent day. So Euro New Zealand as well, that is a nice ADR off of 150. So there's your reversal. Look at that, parabolic, straight up, not one red candle in that. And then a 3-bar reversal and retest. Beautiful. Textbook. So yeah, there's your reversal alert going on in the 15. Your reversal alert on the 5 was a lot tighter this morning. There's your reversal alert and the retest. So yeah, loads of opportunities on ADRs, and most of these have given you around about a quarter of an ADR to half an ADR pullback. Pound New Zealand, you had a reversal alert there off of ADR. You had a second one at 125 ADR. Which, no, you didn't actually. So that was the first reversal alert today. Yeah, your second reversal alert is that one. So there's only been 2 today. There's your first, there's your second. There's your reversal and retest. So looking for a push down into this area here, which is your hourly propulsion gap. Actually, it's way further down. Actually, the propulsion gap's not there. It's all the way back down here. So this high basically is what we've broken out of. So look for some kind of pullback into that potentially. But loads of opportunities today. The yen also, as you can see, we've got a few yen ADRs. So there's been a very weak yen again today. We talked about this morning in the members, not the member stream, in the live stream. This yen is really a whipping boy at the moment. It's completely dead. There's no bullish bias, no bearish bias. They're not changing interest rates. They're not forecasting to change interest rates. So it's just sitting there at the moment. Whatever the other currency does is just going to drive it. So you're kind of looking at the CAD versus nothing at the minute. If the CAD's strong, we're just going to rally against the yen. It's the same with all of these at the moment. The yen is really just getting pulled out of. It's not, I've stopped out of my aggressive drawdown control position this morning. It's not got any strength at all, the yen. It's just sitting there dead in the water, or as you can see, it's weak. It's not acting as a safe haven anymore in the same way as the Swiss franc is. So, it's difficult to know what to do with it. At the moment, I've got this Swiss yen trade on, which I'm stuck in at the moment. I can't get out of. I've banked on it twice, but it's just grinding. Really grinding. So on the 4 hour and the daily, this is a daily RSI extension now. Look at this RSI up here, 86. Last time we were there was here. Yeah, and then we dropped for a week. We actually dropped for about a month. We were up there, we dropped for about a week and a bit. We're up here, we dropped for probably 3-5 days or so. Up here, we dropped for a month. So we're at this point now where we are going to pull back into the 24.72 moving averages, the quarterly pullback. So we're just waiting for some signs of weakness to come in. But we've had 2 down days in the last sort of 2.5-3 weeks, basically. So yeah, I'm happy with the position. The average is nicely 175 ADR. So worst case scenario, if we just pull back into the 20, I'll be able to get out 24. I'll be able to get out at break even. If we can get a pull back into the 72, that'd be a nice profit. But yeah, stuck at the minute, just grinding, absolutely grinding. I haven't got my VPS set up at the moment, so I'm having to manually watch these for additional entries. The next short up there. Yes, yeah. I'm just going to put a sell stop under that 15-minute candle. So I just want to get a bit more size on it while I'm waiting for it to do something. So those are your ADRs. We had this euro odd this morning as well we looked at, which has already hit the weekly range. So AWR on this is 151. If you look back at the previous weeks, so that's last week, that's the week before. Yeah. We had a slightly bigger week going the week before that, and then a nice big week. But you look at the average week on this, we really are not going anywhere at all. So this push today that we had with them selling off the Australian dollar and a bit of buying on the euro at the same time has done 150 ADR. So it's achieved its weekly range literally within 8 hours this morning, just before London opened. So there's your pullback from 150 ADR. Beautiful. So we're coming back into propulsion. So I said that's a really good spot to start looking for buys today. So we've just broken that weekly and monthly high. So this is your old monthly high. That is last week's high. That is Friday's high. We are coming back into test propulsion on that breakout. So this is looking like a really good add for a long if you want to take a long position. Obviously, if you're doing mean reversion, you're going to get out shortly. So That's your weekly range here already today. I wish I'd have taken that this morning. The reverse alert was really tight as well. It was absolutely beautiful. Just textbook market structure. Yeah, so we're coming back down. Watch this high, which is basically an ADR to the downside. So around about, it's 1800 basically. It's a big round number. So 1.8 would be a good buy opportunity on this today if it gets down there. And obviously, as soon as you see some bullish price action, so reverse alert to the upside or 3-bar reversal, just jump in. So those are your ADRs. Let's just quickly look at what's happening on the indices. Triggered long on the NASDAQ. I don't think I'm going to get a trade on the S&P. So close. Not going anywhere today, are we? We've done our volume in that first 5-minute candle. Market's really struggling to find a direction today. So if it breaks to the upside, the NAS, I'm going to take a partial at Friday's high. This is a really small movement, but I just want to get back that tiny loss from today. If it breaks, obviously, if it doesn't break, it doesn't break. But looks like it's going to stop out, actually. Really strong rejection off that 5-minute open. Crap today, isn't it? Can't do anything with that. Unless you sold the high. And obviously, you're doing well. So this candle is going to be your 30-minute range. So when this candle closes, the 6-bar range is going to go in, which is going to be exactly the same as the 5-minute ORB for the Dow. For the S&P, it's going to be, for me, just shy, I think, still. So if we can push out a little bit and then pull back, that would be a nice 6-bar break. So 30-minute ORB. The 30-minute ORB, so if this one does come down and stop out, the 30-minute ORB is going to go back in at the same spot. So we'll have another crack at it and see if we can get a break. But this is dead today, isn't it? No news day. Market's not interested, is it? Right, so quickly looking at these RSI extensions. We've got 4 hours. You've missed that one. But the Aussie dollar, sorry, wrong one. Aussie dollar CAD we're looking at. Aussie dollar CAD, you haven't missed. It's still valid now. So we've really extended. Anything beyond that 20 level and 80 level, really good opportunities for mean reversion. So it's not often you get outside of that 80 level, but when you do the 80-20 level, when you do get outside it, it's strike rate city. I mean, it's very rare you do not get an intraday pullback from these sorts of levels. That's Trump, so you can ignore that one. But there's one there, big pop. We did have one here. Well, that's Trump. We had another one there. But again, that was part of that Trump pullback. So these are, you know, but normal price action when there's not a Trump move going on. Outside these levels, very rare you don't get at least a day, you know, of pullback, an ADR's worth. So you can see obviously reversals going in at the moment. The 15-minute reversal alert triggered this morning. Yeah, and there's your retest, but it has got stuck a little bit. So we are kind of just stalling out at the moment, but that looks like a really good level for a long. It's not a particularly good price point, although it is kind of a 50% retracement. So if we are going bullish, then that's your leg up. But don't forget the Australians are dropping interest rates tomorrow. So you are longing against something that is expected to drop. But if you get in now and it does continue to drop on interest rate decision tomorrow, you're coming straight into 2 monthly levels and a weekly. 2 weekly. So that is your 2-week low, your weekly low. Sorry, that's your 2-week low, your 3-week low, your monthly low, and the previous month's high, I believe. 2-month low, 1-month low. So that's another monthly low, actually. Yeah. So, yeah, you're tapping into this support. Look. So, yeah, it looks good now for a long here. Now, the Australian and the New Zealand dollar do very odd things on interest rates. Typically, when an interest rate reduction happens, it weakens the currency. The Aussie and the New Zealand don't necessarily play by those rules. They're commodity pairs. Their price is driven also a lot by commodity markets. So that, to me, looks like a good scaling opportunity. So if you take a long and it doesn't work out, you could get another 2 positions in there before you hit that low, which brings your average down to there, which means you only need sort of a 38-50% retracement on that to make a very nice profit. So very nicely extended on the 4-hour. It was extended this morning on the hourly, and there's your W pattern going in. And obviously the 15-minute and the 5-minute reversal alert happened this morning. So that's good, really nicely extended. Aussie dollar, US dollar is also really extended. I was going to get into this, but I decided not to because it's an interest rate decision tomorrow. The thing that I don't like about the Aussie and the New Zealand at the moment is we've got both of them releasing interest rates back to back, 24 hours apart. If for any reason the New Zealand dollar decides to reduce rates, although it's not forecast to, that's really going to weaken the Australasian markets, which means that this will probably come down quite hard. But there's a good probability it's just going to pop from here. So very nice extension there. Hourly candles just closed, so we've just lost some of the hourly extensions which were there as well. Euro New Zealand also very nicely extended on the 4-hour. That's started to play out. So there you go, above the 80 level again. You know, this is a incredibly reliable level, the 80. For pullbacks, 80-20. It's already underway. You've missed it. So you needed to get into this one this morning on a reversal alert. In fact, the reversal alert is only an hour ago. 5-minute was a beautiful tight one. This was that 150 ADR reversal this morning. So that's coming down very nicely. But again, be careful, New Zealand dollar. We've got news coming up on Wednesday on that one. The pound New Zealand is the same. We've got very different price action on these two. They're normally very similar, the Euro New Zealand and the pound New Zealand, but the pound is a lot stronger at the minute. Although it shouldn't be really. But you've just had that reversal alert putting on the hourly there. Out of these highs, you've got a monthly high coming up at 175 ADR. So this is a really good entry short now down into here. Failing that, second entry there for a pullback. This is part of that one big strong leg up. So you'd want to pull back on that. So that looks good. Pound New Zealand, it is still extended. Didn't quite get above the 80, but very close. But again, New Zealand dollar, you just got to be careful with what's happening on Wednesday and Thursday with the interest rates. Sorry, Tuesday and Wednesday. Yeah, tomorrow and Wednesday, but that's the New Zealand dollar on Wednesday. Nothing else out of Trump yet. Stopped out on the NASDAQ. 6-bar range is no good for the S&P, so no trades on that today. Not far off. If you're trading anything less than 20% of range, then you're all right on that. So it looks like we're going to try and trigger short. So market can't go long today. So it looks like he wants to go short. See if we get one triggered out on the lows. So Euro New Zealand, we've covered pound New Zealand. New Zealand dollar CAD, again, Australasian. But yeah, nice extension to the downside. We've just got divergence going in this morning as well, which is bullish. It's a very odd area, this New Zealand CAD. I'd love to see it down at 125 ADR today, this monthly level. We've got this weekly bounce point here as well. So that would be a really nice long area, but it is very, very extended. We're on the back of a sort of 3 out of 4 day drop on this. Canadian, little bit strong with the US, and oil prices sort of stabilized, which I think is helping it. But there's no reason really for this New Zealand dollar to be dropping because they're not dropping interest rates. So I think you can get into this kind of any time you like. I haven't got any New Zealand exposure on at the moment. Aussie New Zealand is my kind of instrument that I'm trading. It's a nice rejection, isn't it? I'm going short that. Going short on the Aussie New Zealand. In theory, that Australian dollar dropping interest rates tomorrow should weaken this. If the New Zealanders do not drop interest rates, which they're not forecast to do on Wednesday, sorry, I think there's a good chance of this actually coming back down and retesting at least this area, ADR, if not breaking through that and staying in this range. So come and retest these lows again. But failing that, we'd be coming up into propulsion to test this area here, which is where we broke down. So I'm going to take one of those short Aussie New Zealand. But yeah, New Zealand dollar CAD, obviously you've got a long opportunity there. So I've just shorted Aussie New Zealand, which means I'm longing the New Zealand dollar. You could just long the New Zealand dollar on New Zealand dollar CAD. And look at coming back up there and potentially this being a new market structure leg back up to the upside. So very, very nice extension. Again, the 80-20 level is very, very reliable. You don't always get a massive move on it, but you know, by the time you've got that much extension, it's either going to get stalled out usually, a la this, and you have an opportunity to exit if you want to, or it will just go. So that looks a good point for a long. And you've got a monthly level. So potentially buying out of here. So looks good. And then New Zealand US, pretty much the same pair. So you got a slightly more weakness on this one because of what's happening with the US dollar, obviously. But it's already underway. You've kind of needed to be in it this morning. Yeah. So again, potential market structure, bullish. Continuation to the upside, but beware this could come down much deeper, and we should get an add out of that. If it gets down to there, we'll get probably some add out of that. But don't forget, this is Trump. He could basically pop the dollar or dump the dollar with a tweet. So you know, just be careful. Don't overexpose yourself on the dollar at the minute. US dollar yen is also extended on the hourly. We've got a very nice extension coming up to the 80 level on the hourly. Again, weak yen. This level here, we have sold multiple times. So this whole area here is a really good level of resistance to the upside. So nice potential short opportunity. We did pull back quite nicely on that. So we did a 61.8 retracement on that leg. So you know, same sort of thing, basically. Look at that, beautiful. We haven't had any other big extensions on this. The yen's been very sideways, so it's not really massive extensions. But yeah, good opportunity for shorts on that one as well. So really good looking short opportunities. So we're just waiting for those reversal alerts to kick in. As soon as you get some sign of weakness coming through, there's a nice 3-bar reversal going in there at the moment. So you've got 8 minutes left on this candle. So there's a nice bull move, pause. If that pulls down, that's your 3-bar reversal. Yeah, and then the reversal alert will be confirmation. So depending how aggressive you want to get into, you can get in on the 3-bar reversal, or you can wait for the reversal alert. 5 minutes, you probably just had one. Yeah. So 5-minute reversal alert's just gone in. So potentially just pull back on this leg. How deep? No idea, but yeah, looking like a good short. So yeah, lots of opportunities today. Look at that. Straight down into just before the lows and straight back up again. This market is just all over the place today. So there's your, you've just broken short on the S&P 500 as well. If you were taking the 5 or the 30 ORB, that's triggered you short, but it looks to me today to be rotational. But we'll see. If it doesn't go within an hour, hour and a half, typically we don't tend to go. So this is either going to break really soon or we're just going to flip-flop around all day, which nothing much we can do about. So Dow's breaking down, look. So it does look like the Dow's not going to have a go at running those highs. We've got a gap fill to the downside to complete first. So what we might do is do a gap fill and then pull back up and then try and run those highs. It won't be able to do the gap fill and then break out all-time highs today. It won't have enough power for that or time. So, you're going to need a serious amount of bull power like that to get down, fill the gap, and then get out into all-time high territory, which is ADR today. So I was looking on the other chart, wasn't I? So yeah, getting this gap done and then pulling enough power to do an ADR. Probably not on the cards today. Yeah, not going anywhere. Anybody got anything else they want to look at? Anything else they want to discuss? Let me know. But not a lot else happening at the minute. Oil price at the moment is trying to recover. It's struggling. So I've still got my oil longs on. I'm hoping we're going to run that weekly high. If we can run that weekly high and hold above it for a day, I get the feeling we're going to start a very slow bull run. So we've got this little gap fill here to complete, which is going to probably be your upside resistance. If it can get there today, that'll probably be your upside resistance today. And then see if we can get this market structure continuation and just start to leg up. But yeah, I'm holding it at the moment. I gave myself 5% drawdown on it. I haven't hit it, so I'm still in it. We're not going to get back up there very quickly unless something happens with Iran or Israel. We need some conflict basically to drive this up into these areas again, which it's all petered out, isn't it? It's all sort of gone, which is good. But obviously from a trade perspective, if we go back and look at normal price action, to get back up to there from where we are now is, 2 to 3 weeks realistically. Conflict, day, normal price action, weeks. So, I'm hoping by the end of this week to be close to break even on that. And then I'll decide what to do with it, depending on what happens with the news. Also, depending on what happens with Trump, he could basically do something to do with oil. Oil exports from the US and from Canada could affect this a lot. But, it's Trump. Who knows what he's going to do? Okay, so short triggered on the Dow. So if this is going to be a rotation day, you want to be buying here. Swiss yen still making new highs? Yep. So yeah, got a sell stop on that. Just moving that up there into propulsion. So we're above ADR, so I will get in a new short on that. I've had one failed drawdown control on that this morning. CAD yen, ADR. So again, weakness in this yen. Really weak today. This is indicative of, pulling out of safe havens. But if you look at the Swiss franc, we're not really massively weak on the Swiss. If you look at the movement we've got, the Swiss franc is holding its ground, which means that this isn't a pull out of safe haven. This is kind of just weakness in the yen. It's being pushed around by everything at the minute. Japanese, they've kind of, since the intervention, they've kind of blown the follow through, if you like. So we had the intervention, and they allowed a very big pullback in the US dollar, and then it all strengthened up again. But this was partly to do with Trump. So this move here from there is Trump getting in, and obviously the market collapsing on all the bad decisions to do with the economy. So, well, short-term bad decisions. We don't know long-term yet, but so this here could well have done that if Trump hadn't come in, but he did. So it's really tricky to tell what's going on with this yen. But if you look at all of the other yen pairs, they're all flying, or stronger, if you like, than the US dollar yen. So it just shows you that really the yen is kind of dead and it's being pushed around by the other currencies. So the euro is having a pretty good time at the moment. So euro yen obviously is in a rally. The pound yen is doing okay. The pound is stronger than normal. New Zealand dollar and the Aussie dollar not as good, basically because the commodity markets are down. So yeah, kind of just stalling out. So you can tell from these guys, Aussie yen, New Zealand yen, that really there's no power in the yen at all at the moment. So tricky. But this is the worst pair to get into, the Swiss yen. It's the only pair I can trade kind of without overexposing myself and over leveraging. So it's the only real yen pair I've got that's available to me without, excuse me, ridiculously large costs for swaps. So most of these other pairs, swap costs are like $20 and above, $26 there on the euro. I think the pound yen was up at 30, it's up 40 now, $40 swaps. So the Swiss yen's the cheapest thing. But it's cheap for a reason, because they tend to be safe haven runs and the Swiss will always win, which is what's happening. So, but yeah, just waiting for the pullback, basically. It will pull back. Just waiting at the minute. So as long as I'm keeping my average within two ADR, you know, we'll get a couple of ADR pullback on that at some point. I'm kind of hoping Trump comes out and says, do you know what? I've sorted Israel and Gaza, and Iran have said they're going to come to the table for talks. The Swiss yen will just go boom, because the market will go into greed mode. The stock markets will fly. The Swiss yen, well, the Swiss will drop. So, but, you know, I'm waiting for one man to basically organize the entire planet at the moment, which isn't necessarily realistic. But we will see. Okay, broken out to the short side on all indices. So the 5-minute ORBs have all broken short, apart from the NASDAQ, which is still inside. Really struggling today. This thing can't get anywhere, can it? Please take a look at Euro Pound in 5 positions. So that hasn't gone anywhere since this news last week, which was on the 2nd. I guess Lagarde rallied the market last week. So we've hit propulsion, bounced. It's not really going anywhere. The trouble is with this at the minute, it's kind of just sitting around for weeks on end. So you're likely to just flip-flop around up here. There's no bias on this in either direction at the moment. The euro has dropped rates and is maintaining. The pound is, in effect, more likely to drop rates faster, but again, we're not doing particularly amazing with inflation either. So yeah, sideways. But this is, you know, you've kind of had a 50% pullback. That hasn't pulled back much. That's just a sideways move. Didn't really get much of a pullback on that leg. So it's definitely due a pullback. But when? If we break this low today, we will probably come down. In fact, we are literally breaking it now. So this is Friday's low and Thursday's low just going. So you're going to be hitting ADR in this accumulation. So it depends where your average is, but it's one of those with this type of thing. So it's exactly the same as I'm doing with my trades at the moment, which I'm just stuck in, that are not going anywhere. All I'm doing is taking profit, doing drawdown control. Take profit, do drawdown control. Yeah. So when you're in a position like this, which is just kind of grinding, a bit like my pound US dollar, scaling into it, and then when it comes down, I close out some positions and I do some drawdown control. Add those positions back on if it continues to go. Take some off, do some drawdown control. So I've done DD control on this twice now, once there and once there. Yeah, so that's all you can really do with that euro pound. You're only in five trades, so it's it's a kind of a normal position trade at the moment. It's just annoying price action. You had this period for 2 weeks where we just didn't go anywhere. So it's kind of reset. So that leg didn't work. This leg looks like it might be starting to work, but this is really where you're going to find some buyers in here, potentially. But it's not bullish and it's not bearish. There's no bias on it. So there's your high. Maybe down into there. It's not anything, is it, really? It's just one of those annoying grindy ones. It's always the same way. Euro pound is always grindy. It's only got 42 ADR. It doesn't move. We're the big trade partner. So it's the same as the Aussie New Zealand. Low ADR, 39.6. It just goes sideways most of the time. Yeah. So these pairs, when you get into these pairs, they are annoyingly grindy. And you do tend to get into them for a long time, unfortunately. But equally, you don't go into massive drawdown on them, because unless one of them suddenly goes, do you know what, we're changing interest rates and we're not telling you, that's when it will take off. Other than that, there's no reason. There's no advantage to either currency for one to be massively stronger than the other. We do a lot of trade. Therefore, if we upset our opposite currency, trade becomes difficult. Therefore, you tend to be range bound. Aussie, New Zealand, US dollar CAD, euro pound, they do a lot of ranging because they don't want to have that upset of being ridiculously strong or weak. Yeah, look. This is going back to 2018. We haven't gone anywhere. We're in a range. So you just end up sitting in them for ages. They're just annoying. But there's nothing, unfortunately, you can do. But if we break these lows today, obviously we're going to be hitting ADR, so you're going to find some support starting to creep in. But that is potentially a failed upside auction. We'll come back down somewhere into there. Francesco, on NAS Candela, M15 has activated entry. Yes, no. Not on the 15-minute, no. So my 15-minute ORB is the same as the 5. We haven't got there yet. If yours has, then it has. Different broker, different price, different trade. If you're on Robo Forex, though, I'd phone them up and go, oh no, sorry, this is Global Prime. If you're on Global Prime with me, then I'd phone them up and go, oi, why is he not been triggered and why have I been triggered? And your broker will go, I'm sorry, you asked for the best price we could possibly give you. I managed to get you a better price because I knew it was going to do that. No, they wouldn't know that. But anyway, yes, I haven't triggered, as you can see. So Dow is out the lows. So downside Dow Jones today. I'm going to be cautious today because it's rangy. I'm just going to take a partial at gap fill, assuming we get gap fill from Friday. We're running into the Friday sort of late highs at the minute. So this whole area, we basically didn't want to go below. don't think I'm going to get a trade on the NASDAQ today. I will give this another, where are we, 3:30, so hour. I'll give this another hour. If the NASDAQ is still kind of just doing this, I'll just cancel these pendings off. We might get a late break in the day. So after lunch, it might suddenly go. But when you see this type of price action, there's obviously no interest from the markets today. They're waiting for something, or there's just no interest today. So if there isn't any interest in driving in a direction, then we will just flip-flop around. So these types of days, when you see this price action unfolding, if you've managed to stick without taking a trade so far, look at selling the highs and buying the lows again. If we get down there, tight stops, break even quickly, and just very low risk range bound trades. But doesn't seem to want to do anything today, does it? Stuck. Right, that's all I've got for you today. There's not a lot else happening. There's lots of opportunities on FX. So, watch the ADR dash and RSI dash. There's loads of opportunities today. A lot of these have already played out. So intraday, you could have taken any one of these really, and you've kind of had a bounce off of them, but not massive bounces in most cases. So, we've had some decent upside movement today from these extensions, but tricky to get into today. So, but they are still very, very extended, especially these things, these Australians and the Canadian pairs. Really good. 4 extensions there beyond the 80-20 zone, which are, very, very good opportunities. But Aussie US, New Zealand US, New Zealand CAD, Aussie CAD, they are pretty much the same thing. You're trading the US against the Australasian markets. So pick one, get in one, whichever you prefer. Ideally, one that's getting close to a propulsion gap or close to a support resistance area. Just pick one of those to get into. Don't get into all of them because you're just overexposing yourself. They're very similar pairs. But those are your opportunities today. Pulling back a little bit now on the indices. So we'll see how that one goes today. I'm back on Thursday. No, I'm not. I'm back on Wednesday. So Wednesday morning, we'll be doing the members stream on Wednesday morning. So if you're a member, we'll be covering something in the members stream on Wednesday. I'm really hoping to have a new website for the members to have a look at, which is going to be to do with fundamentals, which I've been working on. Although we seem to be hitting, or they seem to be hitting a few snags with the email system. So whether or not they'll be ready or not, I don't know. But might be able to do that on Wednesday morning, which will be a kind of fundamental session. And then back on Wednesday afternoon, and we'll trade the NAS, the DOW, and the S&P as usual. We'll see how these went. But yeah, dead today, and it's just one of those days for the indices where we're just going to struggle. So keep your eyes peeled on. Look at that. So this is not indicative of extreme greed trading. Yeah, something's wrong. You can tell. Market should be rallying. It's not. The market is in extreme greed because we've had that breakout last week, or rather the week before. We're looking for that continuation move, but certainly not happening today, is it? But keep your eyes peeled on here. Trump is expected to announce something to do with trade tariffs again today. Whether he does or not, we'll have to wait and see. But that's what's probably going to kick the market into movement today. So at the minute, we're just stalling, aren't we? Looks to me like there's a potential to get hedged today. If this continues to rally, may well be going long NASDAQ, short Dow, which is never a good thing because one of them is probably going to stop out. So I'm hoping that just comes and fizzles back down, which will give the Dow a run to the downside. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to take a partial at the gap fill. So Friday's close, basically. Down there, get out a part of it, and then see if we get a runner to the downside. But at the minute, total indecision. Okay, I'm back on Wednesday. Anything you need until then, I'll be in Discord, or you can get me in Telegram. I'll update members on what we're going to be covering on Wednesday. And yeah, anything else you need, let me know. Other than that, have a good day, and I will see you in the next stream.